everybody, how's it going? It's another day here in the stew. And I have to apologize, I'm getting a little scruffy here. It's been a nice long 4th of July weekend. I've been catching up on some work, been putting together some mixes for the album that's coming out this fall. And I wanted to take this time to talk about the most important trumpet in my collection. I know that says a lot because I got a lot of stuff in that closet. A lot of weird horns in my collection, a lot of custom builds. But this trumpet is the most important in my collection because it is the horn that I play every single day. This has been my daily driver trumpet for about 13 years now. Nice long life with this horn. Plan on keeping it for my whole life. This is my Getzen Custom 3051. Absolutely beautiful horn from the folks over at Getzen. So what is the 3051? Well, the Getzen 3051 is a part of their custom series lineup, and it was sort of built as an all-around trumpet that you can use in, multiple genres of music. Straight from the Getzen website, it's a 125 style mouthpipe and a 172 style bell. Now those specs are not uncommon. In fact, I feel like there's a lot of companies out there that have trumpets in their lineup with similar specs, but where this trumpet really excels is in the weight distribution. The body of this horn is nice and sort of minimalistic. There's not a whole lot of extra metal work on here. Nice and simple. Has a nice reverse lead pipe. It's a 0.459 bore, I believe. It's a medium large bore. Has a 2-piece valve block. But otherwise, there's not a whole lot of extra metal on here. There's no intricate third valve slide stops, nothing like that. Where this horn really shines is in the weight of the bell. It's a heavyweight gold brass bell, and it's a heavyweight bell that you can feel. It's kind of bell heavy, but it has that nice lightweight valve block here that keeps things centered. So it's impossible for me to talk about this horn without talking about what led me to this horn. The story of this trumpet begins all the way back in high school for me. So when I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to go out and be a musician as a full-time career. This was right around the financial crisis, and my parents really had a tough time during that time financially, but they knew that this was something that I wanted to do in my future, and they came together and they bought me a horn that I could use for the future, which really means a lot to me even to this day. That trumpet was not this Getzen. You see, I was a little rule follower, and back in high school, I went to the local music store and I play tested a bunch of different horns, and I landed on the one that everyone told me to get, which was a 37 Strat. If you know history and you know the financial crisis and how the timeline lines up, you know that this is right around the Bach strike. So my first professional horn as a player was a strike Bach. Now there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of Bachs out there during the strike era that are okay, that play pretty well. Mine was not. It wasn't until college where I was sitting in freshman symphonic band and 2 people around me also had 37 Strats. One was an early Elkhart, one was a Mount Vernon. And during a break, we sort of play tested each other's horns. It was at this point where I felt a little cheated because the Strats around me played so much better than mine. My horn was heavy. It had rough valves. There was a lot of noise in the valves. It just wasn't a very good player. It sounded kind of dull. But then when I played the Strats around me, they were like half the weight. The valves were 50 years older than mine, but they played better, and the tone just shimmered, while I had to work so hard to make my horn sound good. I was frustrated, obviously, and I went to my professor at the time, Dr. Scott, and he was a Getzen artist. And he was just getting in a new shipment of the Getzen Custom Series horns in for him to try. He had a 3051, a 3050, a 3052, a couple of the Mike Vax models that were being made back then. And I believe there was a Getzen Eterna as well, sort of like the throwback Eterna model. So I spent my lesson trying all of those. And when I played that 3051, everything changed. It was like trumpet playing got so much easier immediately. My articulations were better, my intonation was better, my tone was better. I felt like I was actually singing through the horn instead of fighting the horn the whole time. But I was 18 years old, broke, very far from home, and I had zero means to get this horn. Luckily, my trumpet professor worked with the local music store to make these horns available for the studio. So I immediately wrote down the serial number for this 3051, went out to the music store, and did my best to take it home. Again, still broke, still 18 years old. So I think I split this horn on like 2 credit cards and like $500 in cash. This horn changed everything for me. You know, my entire sound concept was built around this horn. It got me through college. It got me through my first few jobs outside of college. It was the one thing that I brought with me out here to California. It got me my jobs out here. It got me every single recording job I have, all because of this horn right here. So this horn is pretty much bone stock since I bought it, but I did change out a few things. Over time, you know, the valves got a little noisy. They got a little wear on the felts down here because I've been playing it every single day for a decade now. So I flew out to Mike Del Quadro's shop over in Las Vegas. I had like a 9-hour layover in Las Vegas because I'm poor at travel planning. And I took an Uber to Mike Del Quadro's shop, and he set me up with these awesome turquoise inlays on these valve buttons, which just look amazing, with raw brass on the outside. And then he did a valve alignment. He also gave me a little tattoo. Back in my early recording days, I went by SPACY. So Mike set me up with a SPACY engraving there. So that's a little bit about my Getzen 3051, my daily driver horn, the horn that I've played for years and the horn that I plan on playing forever. You'll hear a lot of this horn on my upcoming album called Ectopic that's coming out this fall. Here's a little bit of the lead song Ectopic from that album. You'll hear more about this track as the release gets closer. There's a lot of emotion behind this track. This is a pretty lo-fi recording. This isn't the final recording that you'll hear, but you'll hear some of the amazing color out of this 3051. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening.